name is Frank Koopman. I'm a designer from the Netherlands and I'm also the creator of this piece to my right, which is called Outer Spectre. And this was a collaboration between Waag Society, Makerversity Amsterdam and AMC Museum Vrolijk. And they commissioned me to do a research project about end of life, and with this piece we're trying to simulate an out-of-body experience that, as suggested by recent research, might reduce existential death anxiety, so the fear of death. What the participants are seeing is they get a virtual reality headset on, and through the headset they actually look at themselves from the perspective of the robot head, so you get a third-person perspective. But by combining all the different sensory inputs, so sight, sound and touch, and sort of using them in synchronicity but also in asynchronous ways, they sort of can get a drifting body sensation. There's a tapping device that ticks at your chest, and actually this is a part that basically throws you off a little bit, so it reminds you through tactile feedback where your body is, and this sort of doesn't really connect with where your sight and your ears are located, so this creates a sensation that your brain really can't compute where it is at the moment, so they can have a sense of presence that is actually located outside of their own body.
My name is Leo Pester. I'm a Vienna-based artist and I present here my project Form by Time. It's a series of electromechanical jewelry. It's classic jewelry, handmade in silver, and it has incorporated motors, battery, Bluetooth connection, and so it can change its shape over time. I really like kinetic art, and I think movement is one of the oldest forms of cultural expression. And that's why I'm so attracted to it, and I just wanted to see if jewelry can be extended by these possibilities.
My name is Karen Palmer. I'm a multidisciplinary immersive filmmaker, and I'm here with Riot 2.0, which is an emotionally responsive film experience which uses artificial intelligence and facial recognition to navigate through a riot. You stand in the middle of a 3D ambisonic soundscape, which gives you a very engaging, immersive sound experience, and then you watch a film. There's a webcam which is watching you. It's just watching your emotions, including your micro emotions, and then it will feed back those metrics to the film, and then that will affect the branching narrative. My co-producers for the project are the National Theatre Immersive Storytelling Studio and Brunel University, London. I'm looking to create with the National Theatre a huge 360 cinematic film experience. I'm currently doing R&D to develop that experience, and we expect it to be out next year.
I'm Ben Neal, aka Skull Eyes of Swamp Thing, which is an art collective. I'm here at the V&A for Digital Design Weekend with Birmingham Open Media, and we're presenting the Swamp Pipe. Essentially, we're getting people to blow very hard into a panpipe to control a computer game where we have scanned versions of ourselves dancing. So it has a twist section that affects disco lights. There's a blowhole where you can breathe into it and blow air, which brings the characters to life. And it has touch-sensitive keys, so you can play it like a musical instrument. And we use it at live events, but here at the V&A we're using it as a games controller. And you're surrounded by us, Swamp Thing, who have been 3D scanned head to foot. So we appear in the game as animated, moving 3D models. So you're in a 3D world. People are generally very mystified by it, but people are having great fun playing it. And yeah, we've had some good tunes.
My name is Imre Bard, and we are here with the Hack the Senses Experience Design Collective. This experience is called Self-Constructor, and it's basically an out-of-body virtual reality puzzle where a person sees themselves from the outside, as if we had taken their eyes and put them in a distant corner of the room. So they are looking at themselves, and they have to put together a puzzle, which also shows a live image of themselves as they are trying to put this puzzle together. So that's why we're calling it self-constructor, because you're observing yourself as you're trying to put together an image of yourself in real time. And it's kind of a cheeky metaphor of how in life we kind of spend our lifetime trying to put ourselves together, but it never really fully works out, because after a while the pieces reshuffle and kind of you have to start again. The other installation is called AAI, which stands for Aesthetic Artificial Intelligence, which investigates how people look at and appreciate works of visual art. So we're trying to train an AI using EEG, brain data and eye tracking data on how humans look at and appreciate visual art, in order to raise this question whether, if we create a model of it, does that mean that an artificial intelligence is actually enjoying and appreciating that work of art?
I'm Natasha, and I'm working with Luca Damiani and John Philip Sage, and we're working as a collective. This in particular is my project, and it's part of the Tangible Statistics Linguistics project. What it's doing is it's exploring dyspraxia and the textures of dyspraxia. When you play the game and you make an error, you will actually hear a story or a poem or a memory from a dyspraxic person. So this is a playful way of finding out more about dyspraxia and what people that have it experience, and hopefully sort of it'll build some bridges of understanding, I'm hoping.
My name's Edward Brielle. I'm a designer for Studio Eni, working alongside Nasia Ingleses, the founder, and John Bertolasso, another designer and engineer. For Digital Design Weekend, we were presenting In Need of Transformation. We come into crossing boundaries by looking at bringing industrial technologies as a means of experimental manufacturing approaches in traditional crafts such as glassblowing. We took an industrial pneumatic system and brought controls inspired by traditional forms of glassblowing and used gestures to control it to create new ways of making glass. And what was interesting about this was we experimented with the pulsation of air to freeze different moments of the process to create different series and kind of codify the information coming from the craftsman or manufacturer's hands. As part of our experimental manufacturing approach, we worked to create almost a stamp on each piece. We use a cooling process to create an abstract record of the manufacturing process, which is what this almost cellular-like structures on the pieces are, something that we want to work towards in future pieces called embedded logic.
We're from the Open IoT Studio, and that's a collaboration between Mozilla Foundation and the University of Dundee. I guess the main agenda of the whole research is looking at a healthy internet, and in particular looking at the Internet of Things, so kind of smart devices that are connected to the internet in your home or in your work. But what does that mean, and what should we be thinking about? And one of the ways that we're approaching that is by creating different prototypes. So we have 3 here today with us. This one here is kind of moving up and down. So it's letting you know that it is doing something and it's on. Sometimes we're not aware that these devices are actually listening to us. So it's to bring about a bit more transparency that it is there in the room. This other one here behind us with the text scrolling across the screen, if you ask Alexa something, that the information would come up on a different display, so having an actual textual description on it. And then this one here, the actor, So it has 2 microphones on either side, so it will react to you in the room and move its head to where you are and then nod. And it's like letting you know I'm actually listening to you and I've heard what you're saying. So again, it's that kind of type of transparency, letting you know that it's actually doing something and I have heard what you've said. This was the advisor. It'll ask you questions, like if you think there should be an age of consent for children to use voice-controlled devices, and you can then see what other people have said, if they agree or disagree with this. One of the approaches that we're taking is kind of thinking about craft in a way as an approach. So thinking about different values, where does the material come from, sustainability, longevity, and people actually valuing these devices in a less kind of consumerist way. So that's a route that we're exploring as well.
So yeah, this is a mud-powered robotic system, basically. So we have 2 parts. Here is the power generating part, where we have some different modules, all the same. They're all made the same design. We have some mud inside, really regular mud that was collected on a seashore in Wales, and 2 halves of kitchen scavers that we can put this way. So we have one below. We put mud, and then we have another on top, and they are all like connected together, and they all give their energy to these 2 small components here that store the energy for a while. So here you can read the amount of energy that is currently stored inside, and once it reaches 2.5 volts, about 15 minutes every 15 minutes, we have enough power to power the robotic systems for 15 seconds, and then we can charge again for 15 minutes. And so the robots, they have 2 different microcontrollers here, which are small computers that can run a bit of code, and they flash some lights here and there. And there are also 2 motors, one that allows the robot to go this way, and the other goes up out of the water. And when they meet, they can send each other messages using wireless technology. So it shows that even with the power of few bacteria like this one, we can have quite an interesting system running.
My name is Moin Roberts-Islam. I'm one of the co-directors of Bria. We created the installation Slave Master, which combines dance, projection graphics and robotics. It's been on for the last 10 days at the V&A. The purpose of the installation really is to get people to think differently about robots and humans working together. Most of the sci-fi films that we see, they have people kind of being killed by or oppressed by robots, and they're taking over the world. Whereas we don't believe that that's the case. We believe that robots will be really great and make things better for us and work alongside us. And so we tried to spin that narrative on its head. So during the dancers start off quite curious around the robots, and then they get more and more confident. And by the end of it, the human dancers are actually suppressing the robots. They're kind of in control and getting the robots to bow down to them essentially by the end of it. So yeah, we were just trying to open that dialogue and get people to see that humans and robots can work safely together, and actually by having the humans dance quite so intimately with the robots, quite so close, with all the safety parameters that we've set up, it just shows that humans and robots really can work safely together without any barriers in between, without any kind of cages or safety glass or any of that, which we'd normally see in factory settings.